How's it going, guys? It's your boy Round Tall Guy. Welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button for me, and of course, let's get started. On today's video, I'll be working on the 2001 Jeep Cherokee, and today we're gonna do a simple repair or simple replacement. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna replace the thermostat on this vehicle. Honestly, it's super simple, considering that the thermostat is right here, and there's only two bolts to unbolt. You have to remove the sensor and disconnect these two lines, and you should be all set to pry this out, remove the thermostat, and replace it. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Now the first thing you want to do is go ahead and drain your coolant. Now the simplest way to drain it is to go ahead and disconnect this hose down here. Let me show you real quick. Alright, the hose is right here. You want to go ahead and disconnect that, unclamp it, or remove the clamp, and then go ahead and pull on it, and you should be able to drain all the coolant. Or you could be like me. I'm just gonna go ahead and disconnect this. Yes, I'm gonna lose some coolant, but I'm not gonna lose all of it. If you disconnect the lower hose, you're gonna lose all your coolant because it's gonna drain out due to gravity. I'm just gonna go ahead and remove this. I have a catch pan below right there to catch any coolant. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. All right, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and just remove this clamp here, just like that. And I'm also gonna go ahead and loosen this one right here. Then I'm gonna go ahead and wiggle it out. Of course, you're gonna lose some coolant. Ooh, looks like this hose needs to get replaced eventually. I see some cracking. And go ahead and loosen this hose as well. Surprisingly, I'm low on coolant, so I'm not losing anything. Then we're gonna go ahead and unplug this sensor. It's a temperature sensor. Just put it to the side. All right, now as for the two bolts, it's gonna be a 1/2 inch. And you might need to get creative because you have this shroud in the way. Bolt number 1 is pretty rusty. Now we're gonna go ahead and get the second one, which is below here, which I believe you still have access to without removing anything. All right, and this is your thermostat housing right here. A lot of crud. Looks like a lot of rust too, damn. All right, this is your bolt right here. Once again, it's pretty rusty. This whole car is actually pretty rusty. But there you go. So I need to go ahead and clean this up. All right, and this is your thermostat right here. It's pretty old, pretty rusty, so that's why we're gonna replace it. Now the most annoying part is basically cleaning up the mating surface, removing the old gasket material. It looks like the previous owner used a paper gasket with some black RTV, so it's gonna be really annoying to peel it off, but it looks like it's already coming off. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean it up. Gonna go ahead and clean that up too. It's gonna take me a couple of minutes. I may have to use some razor blade and just gently scrape it off. Alright guys, welcome back. So I went ahead and I cleaned the mating surface. I also cleaned the housing right here. It's nice and clean, nice and smooth. Now this right here is your thermostat you're going to install. Now some thermostats have a little hole on the top right here. You're going to make sure that hole is facing upwards. Like over here, for example, would be like right here. That basically is to let out air from the system. So you want to make sure it's pointing up. This one apparently doesn't have one at all. I checked multiple sides. There's none, so I don't have to worry about that. Now when you install it, you gotta make sure that the thermostat is installed like this, with this big chunk of metal inside the head, just like that. And then you're gonna go ahead and sandwich it together, just like that. Now for this one, most of the time when you buy these thermostat, it comes with the gasket. Now I'm not going to use a gasket because there's a lot of rust pivots, little tiny like pinholes, and a lot of uneven surface area. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to use a gasket maker, some RTV. I'm just going to create a gasket. It's going to seal better than a paper gasket because once again there's a lot of little tiny imperfections on the metal right here due to rust. So I'm going to do that real quick, and then we're going to go ahead and sandwich it together. Alright guys, I went ahead and created my gasket. It's not the best, but it will do. I'm going to go ahead and put the thermostat in. As I mentioned, this one doesn't really have any directional issues. Just going to place it in, and then we're going to go ahead and put this on. Now, since we're using RTV, you want to make sure you keep it, once the two mating surface touch, you want to make sure you keep it together until you bolt it down so that the gasket material doesn't move around and creates a mess or it clogs up some of the ports. Alright guys, so I went ahead and I got the housing back on, and I made sure it's nice and flush. You don't want to torque these down too much. You only have 2 bolts. You actually want to go ahead and tighten it down and just give it like a good yank, and then that's basically it. Don't tighten them too much because you could snap the bolt head. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put the hoses back on and the sensor, because why not? Sensor just clips. Hose just go right back on, just like that. Back on the way you had it, and then go ahead and tighten this up. Alright guys, so now we're going to go ahead and fill it up with coolant. Basically what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and fill this up until it's topped off. Then we're going to put some over here. We're going to stir up the engine, let it warm up. That's going to open up the thermostat, which is going to allow coolant to travel through. As it travels through, it's going to start releasing the air pockets or the air inside the system, which will come out of the filler neck right here. And then once there's no more air coming out, then that's how you know that there's no more air in the system. And then you can go ahead and top it off, and then you should be all set. It's pretty simple. I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. Alright guys, so I got the engine running. You can tell right here, you see how the coolant is staying on the funnel. That means that it's topped off because I don't see any more bubbles. Also, I went ahead and burped the system by squeezing the hose. That should force the air to come out. I don't see any more air bubbles coming out here. And I see coolant is kind of leaking, so I need to go ahead and close that. Then I'm going to go ahead and top off the reservoir. Alright guys, so I went ahead and I topped off the coolant. I let the car run for about 10 minutes, and I went ahead and checked the temperature, checked the coolant. Everything looks fine. There's no leaks whatsoever. The gasket maker sealed. I don't see any leaks there. I need to go ahead and just top off the reservoir one more time, and we should be all set. Alright guys, so this was a simple how-to video on how to replace the thermostat. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing. I'll see you on the next video. See ya. Bye-bye.